Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So in this week's video, I wanted to discuss a shrub that I'm adding to the garden that quite frankly, I cannot believe it's taken me this long to add, and that is the Loropetalum. So I wanted to take you guys on a recent nursery visit that I made just to check out some of the varieties that I ran across while I was out there, as well as share some additional information that I found upon researching about the Loropetalum and why you may want to consider adding it to your garden as well. All right, you guys, so with that, let's get to it. Loropetalum, also known as Chinese fringe flower, is native to the woodlands in Southeast Asia, China, and Japan. They're related to witch hazel, and their flower colorations range from pink and red, which is what I see most often, but also did see it noted that there are some varieties that bloom purple and white as well. They have really neat ribbon tassel-like clusters of flowers that are noted for having a sweet fragrance and bloom anywhere from midwinter to spring, and can also bloom sporadically through the summer or any time of year, particularly in more mild climates. I was recently pretty surprised when I passed a Loropetalum a few days ago and noticed that it had some sporadic blooms on it here in September in Georgia. Loropetalum is noted as a very low-maintenance, deer-resistant shrub, hardy to USDA zones 7 through 10. They come in dwarf, medium, and taller varieties and can have upright or weeping growth habits with mature sizes ranging anywhere from 2 to 15 feet tall and 3 to 10 feet wide depending on the variety. They prefer full to partial sun and are noted to need at least 4 hours of direct sun daily. The foliage and blooming will be affected if this shrub doesn't get enough sunlight, so please keep that in mind when selecting your planting location. It's noted though that in hotter climates, it may need protection from later afternoon sun. Moderate humidity is noted as best for Loropetalum. Now, I'm in a pretty humid climate here in Georgia, so I'm going to make sure to provide adequate airflow for my plant, which will also help discourage disease. The Loropetalum is a shrub that provides year-round interest with the beautiful blooms and the foliage coloration that can change throughout the year. The foliage colors can range anywhere from green, purple, burgundy, and variegated. This is an evergreen perennial, but leaves can drop in colder temperatures. You'll also want to make sure to protect the Loropetalum from harsh winter winds when selecting a location for your plant. When planting the Loropetalum, a 50-50 mix is recommended for clay and dense soils. Because I have clay soil, if I were to plant in the ground, I would mix my soil with a planting soil to help provide a well-draining, richer soil that the Loropetalum is noted to prefer. When first planting, it's recommended to water regularly, but not to overwater, as they don't like soggy soil, but do prefer a consistently moist soil. Once established, these shrubs are noted to be drought tolerant. With regard to pruning the Loropetalum, it's recommended to wait until after the spring flowering to prune. However, these are plants that do not have to be pruned, so I imagine I'll just leave mine unless something really stands out as needing to be removed. There's also no need to deadhead, as it's said that this will not encourage additional blooming, which just helps in giving this plant its reputation for being very low maintenance. Now, I did find that after spring blooming, you can feed in spring or early summer with an all-purpose slow-release fertilizer for shrubs. There are many different varieties of Loropetalum out there, and I'll touch on some that I ran across next. I did want to mention, however, that the smaller varieties' growth rate is noted as slower than the growth rate of the larger varieties, so that's just something to keep in mind when selecting your shrub as well. The first variety I came across is the Ever Red, which blooms in late winter to early spring with red blooms. Its noted growth is to an average of 5 to 6 feet high and wide in USDA zones 7 through 9. This Loropetalum has dark burgundy foliage and is noted to keep its color through the summer. Next, we have the Red Diamond, which is noted as a mid-sized Loropetalum growing to 6 feet high and wide and hardy to zones 7 through 10. This is noted to have the reddest blooms of all the cultivars with dark burgundy foliage as well, and blooms late winter to early spring and then sporadically in summer and fall. Next, we have Emerald Snow semi-dwarf Loropetalum that grows 4 to 6 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide and hardy to zones 7 through 10. This variety has white blooms in spring and then blooms sporadically through summer and fall. It has green foliage with the new growth coming in as lime green. There's the purple diamond Loropetalum, which is a semi-dwarf variety growing 4 to 6 feet high and 4 to 5 feet wide. This blooms with spring flowers and has nice purple foliage that is noted to hold its color all season. We have ruby Loropetalum, which didn't have a lot of information with it, but upon looking into it a bit more, I found that these bloom with pink flowers that appear in spring and grow 4 to 5 feet high and wide in USDA zones 7 through 9. The purple daydream is more of a dwarf variety growing 2 to 3 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide. This has dark purple mounding foliage with the dark pink blooming clusters in the spring and is hardy to zones 7 through 10. We have another dwarf variety with a weeping growth habit in the purple pixie. This variety grows 1 to 2 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide and can act more as a ground cover. This has purple foliage year-round with pink flowers in the spring and is hardy to USDA zones 7 through 10. Next, we have Jazz Hands Bold, which is hardy from USDA zones 7B through 9 and can reach approximately 5 to 6 feet tall and wide. This has pink fringed flowers that bloom in mid-spring and are noted to have larger blooms and foliage than other Loropetalum varieties. There's also Jazz Hands Variegated, which has this beautiful variegated foliage and it blooms with pink flowers in spring in zones 7B through 9. All right, you guys, so I wanted to show you the variety that I chose, which is the Jazz Hands Variegated. So let me show it to you. It is so pretty. I absolutely love the variegation in these leaves. I think they're just gorgeous. Look at that pink leaf there on the end. And I just think it's so pretty. I can't wait to see it bloom in the spring. Now I'm going to start mine in a pot for right now, and then I will decide if I'm going to plant it in the landscape or if I'm going to keep it in a pot and then I'll just move it in a bigger pot as it continues to grow. But I'll go ahead and get that planted and then show you the end result in the pot that I chose for it, at least for the time being. Now I'll fill that pot with potting soil, and I'm actually going to add some perlite to that, even though it's got perlite in the potting soil. But I want to make sure that this soil is very well draining, as it's noted for Loropetalum that they do prefer that well draining soil. So I'll make sure to add that as well, and then I'll just show you guys the end result. All right, you guys, so here's the end result. I have the Loropetalum planted. I think it's absolutely beautiful with its variegated leaves. Just look at that. And I went ahead and went with a darker colored container. This is kind of a grayish brown with a tinge of purple. And I just wanted to make sure to offset the light color of the variegated leaves and have them stand out. And I just think that they are absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited to have this planted and could definitely foresee adding some of these beautiful plants in the future as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm so excited to add the Loropetalum to my garden and have been admiring it for years. So I'm just so thrilled to finally get it in my garden and sharing that with you guys. So thank you so much again. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you can be notified each time I upload a new video. All right, you guys, so until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.